Hello everyone. Hope you guys are having a good day. Happy Tuesday, I guess. Yes, I did watch the Mia event. I rewatched it. I think it was later the same day or the day after. But I hope everyone is doing well. Doing something a little different today because I was at BSF Philly over the weekend. That's why I didn't stream on Friday. I believe I mentioned it before. And I thought I would talk about how Philly was. Mainly due to the fact that after 8 years, I finally have a top. I finally topped one of the Bushiroad official events. One of the regional events. Yeah, so it's still a little crazy thinking about it. I don't really know, like I don't really know what to say. It's still kind of like it's like my brain still is like in the middle of processing it. Thank you. I was just thinking about all the decks I've played over the years before Saturday, and I thought maybe I'd just talk about BSF Philly and then show off all the decks I'd played since like 2017 or so. I had a bit of trouble locating some of these. I was looking through like I have a lot of card games, so I've been like I was spending this morning because this just popped up all of a sudden in my brain to do it. Well, actually my two teammates recommended me do a stream. Recommended me to do a Weiss Schwarz stream after BSF. But they weren't actually recommending me do this. They were actually asking me to react to this like master list of Weiss Schwarz terms, like the origins of Musashi, Icy Tail, and all this stuff. And I was like, I don't think I don't know. I don't think that'd be very interesting. So, yeah, I didn't really know what to do because I did want to talk about Weiss because it's been on my brain a lot after Saturday and Sunday. So yeah, gonna be talking about BSF Philly, and then I'll be going over every single deck I've played for regionals since then. I forgot to put a disclaimer on Twitch. There we go. Let me just pin this. Setting this up is always a bit of a pain because camera and like trying to move stuff. But before we go through all these decks, and you guys are free to try to guess what decks I was playing back all those years ago, like 2017, 2018. You guys are more than welcome to guess before I show it. But the big thing today, I want to lose track of which deck is what, which is going to be really funny. But I do have a list of what I played when. How do I do this properly? So this is the deck I'm gonna be playing for WGP in November. So I'm gonna put this off to the side. And then these are the decks I've played over the years. But first things first, gotta show off the prize cards that I won over the week. So ta-jan! Top 8 for BSF. And my big head is blocking, but this is top 4. Let me move myself over just for a second so I'm not blocking this lovely mat. Yes. Bushiroad Summer Fest 2025 top 4. I was a member of the team. And in addition to that, there was also the single elimination tournament that was happening on Sunday, and I ended up going undefeated, so I got also the shiny promo. But yeah, so these were my prizes for BSF over the weekend. My teammates were Namian, who also streamed like Heaven Burns Red. He's also another VTuber, and he goes by Dardar Binks, but we just call him Krillin. He's the owner of Silk Road Gaming in New York City, where I am located. And we've known each other for like 20 years. All of us have known each other for like 20 years. And actually, when the first ever team regionals I participated in all those years ago was actually with Namian and Krillin. But as I mentioned before, since Krillin is the owner of Silk Road Gaming, he's normally very, very busy, and he's actually been the vendor at a lot of Bushiroad events. So if you participated in like the events they've held near New York City, like Bushiroad, I think it was it BCS Newark? Like Newark, New Jersey, White Plains, then most likely you've actually been to like the Silk Road booth. And yeah, so my first ever teammates for a Bushiroad team event was Namian and Krillin, and they were my teammates this year. So Namian has been consistently like on my team, or I've been on his team. He's usually the team captain, not me, because I'm not that good at card games. I don't think I'm that very good at card games, which is probably why I didn't get my first top in this until this year. But yeah, we've rotated our B or C slot over the years, because I'm sometimes C, and then sometimes B. So I've had Homu, which has showed up on Namian's streams a few times. You've been there before, yeah. So Krillin is the owner of Silk Road. He's very chill. It's a very nice store. It's located in Manhattan, in Chinatown. So if you're like just like traveling or like visiting New York, and you want a bubble tea and some card game and some card or enter a card game tournament, you can just stop by Silk Road. But yeah, so my first ever teammate for a Bushiroad team event was Krillin, and then we had Homu as our teammate, who's one of like who's like one of the players I respect the most at my locals. He also used to stop by when I would stream Weiss Schwarz Simulator. I no longer stream Weiss Schwarz Simulator due to the Bushiroad notice. But yeah, Homo would stop by when I would stream the Bushiroad, the Weiss Simulator. And I think he was our partner for teams for like 2 years. And then it was Astrum, who we would play. What games? He's mainly a Vanguard player. Astrum's mainly a Vanguard player. And Namian met through playing Vanguard Deer Days, and then he ended up picking up Weiss because of Guilty Gear. So it's kind of crazy to think that the original team got back together. And we ended up getting top 4. So it was very, very fun. What was my record? Oh, I guess I should also... I am talking so much, I didn't even show off the deck I was playing. So where's my... Where is he? There he is. I didn't even show off the deck I was playing. I think most... So I was on C slot. Oh, right. There's also this, I forgot. You get the regular promo just for participating, but you only get the foil promo if you win all 3 games. So I was on C slot on Overlord. Namian was on A slot with Tokyo Revengers, and Krillin was on Kenshin for B slot. Krillin actually did the best. He went 5-1 with Kenshin during Swiss. So this was like a mid-size regionals, I think. I don't think it was the biggest, but it definitely wasn't the smallest. So Krillin went 5-1. Namian and myself went 3-3 during Swiss. My first round was Azure Lane, which I won, followed by Bunny Senpai, which also was a win. And then it was 2 Nikkeis, so round 3, round 4 was Nikkei, and I lost both of them. Followed by Bandori, which was another loss, and then round 6 was Bochi the Rock, which I won. So yeah, my 3 losses were to the meta decks, 2 losses to Nikkei, 1 loss to Bandori. But I did get revenge. I got revenge, because one of the Nikkei players that I lost to was in top 8. So I ended up fighting the Nikkei player again in top 8, and I did get revenge. I got revenge, which is good. So and then I also won another Nikkei match in top 8. So I lost 2 Nikkei games in Swiss, but then I won both my 2 Nikkei games in top 8. So I am pretty happy with that. Nikkei is a bit of a weird matchup for me. I usually don't have too much trouble with Nikkei, to be honest. But my hand was really clogged with climaxes, and I didn't really have a way to get rid of them. I will say this, I miss Yuri a lot. I don't really miss the Shell Tier Vampire package, the Vampire Queen package. I miss having Yuri to get rid of the extra climaxes I end up picking up. So I think at one time I had like 4 climaxes in hand, which was not good. And of course, being regionals, my opponents are good, so they notice that, like, how come you only refreshed with 4 climaxes? I'm like, I don't know, maybe I blind stuck to one during bar or something. I don't know, maybe I blind stuck to one with bar or something. But yeah, it was pretty bad. I ended up getting a lot of climaxes in my hand during those games. But as I said, I got revenge later on. I got a decent hand in top 8, so I got revenge in top 8, which is good. Oh, hello. But yeah, so that name sounds familiar. Philip? Are you one? Are you? I'm not gonna make assumptions. But yeah, I'm just gonna. I haven't submitted my list to Weiss Tea Time yet. I will, but honestly, my deck list isn't interesting. I'm gonna straight up say this. My deck list isn't interesting. It's just Overlord, and like the most interesting deck list on my team is our freaking Kenshin player. Okay, and he's kind of iffy about submitting it to Weiss Tea Time. Not because he doesn't want to submit it, but it's because he wants to keep it a secret, and he doesn't go out to play that often anyway. So the few times he wants to just keep it a little secret for now. But I will tell you, he was on Kenshin, and he went 5-1. He did the best out of all of us, which meant he had to pay for dinner. But yeah, before the tournament even started, we agreed that whoever got the best record would pay for dinner, and I thought it would be me, honestly. Not because like not saying that my teammates suck or anything, but I'm in C slot, and they're in A and B slot, and based off of the data on Weiss Tea Time, the meta decks are in A and B. The Bandoris, the Nikkeis, the bunnies, if they're running around, are usually in A and B slot. So just by process of elimination, I'm like, oh, these guys are gonna have more trouble than I am, because I'm on the C slot fighting mostly the rogue decks. And then I ran into 3 of the meta decks, so weird things happen, I guess. Or weirder things have happened, I guess. I was actually joking around with my opponents saying, like, why are you here? You're Nikkei, you're a Bandori. Why are you here in C slot? Why are you in C slot? You shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be fighting you. You shouldn't be here. But yeah, I think a lot of people were thinking the same way, that they just throw maybe like their strongest teammates onto C slot to guarantee the win, and that's why I ended up fighting Nikkei and Bandori. Where the heck? Man, there's not enough room here. Oh, you guys know what my climaxes are. Like, so I'm gonna put the climaxes aside, because that doesn't matter. My climaxes do not matter. This is all over the place because I do not have enough room. So this is my deck list for... This is the full... My head is blocking most of it, but yeah, this was my list for BSF Philly, 4 Eins, which is normal. So before I went to Philly, I was actually debating on taking out the Mare, which is blasphemous. I know it's blasphemous to take out the Mare, but I always feel bad playing it, which is why I kind of wanted to take it out and just play 2 Albedos instead. But basically the night before I decided to change it and put the Mare back in. I was actually running 2 Albedos because I feel bad playing the Mare. Two auras. I know most people play 1. I play 2 because I have had really bad luck losing it in stock or losing it in clock. So I just play 2. I know people mainly play 1. I just had bad luck, so I play 2. My shell tiers are at 3 because I have CZ at 2. I think most people, if they do play CZ, I know some lists don't even play CZ. I know the lists that play CZ that I've seen usually play 1. I play 2, mainly because I said before, I've noticed I just have bad luck and end up losing them. So most of the cards here that you see, like Aura and CZ, that I play 2 of, most people play 1. I play 2 because I've noticed I have bad luck and end up losing them and I can't get them out. So this is just my own little thing to deal with it. So 3 shell tiers, 1 CZ. It was 4 shell tiers and 1 CZ before, but I changed it. I do have 1 Tuare. This is because Yuri's not in my deck anymore, so I need some way to find my climaxes more reliably. I was actually playing Sebas a while back, but I found it was kind of slow, so I changed it. So I'm not playing Sebas anymore. So I instead just bumped up the CZ count and bumped up the Tuare count. Einses are at 3. I did have them at 4 before because I ran into people who could bounce and de-level them. That's not really a thing in this meta anymore. I've not really had that happen. So 3 clean cuts, play 4 of the level 0 Eins, 2 of the searching Eins. I'm tempted to bump this back up to 3. I bumped it down to 2 because I ended up not using them too often, but they would have come in handy when I was climax clogged during Philly. So I might bump this back up to 3. Demiurge are 2 because I lose. If I run 1, I lose it. It always happens. And then 4 of my clean cut. So this is my final build. This was or is my build for Philly. There's probably going to be some changes going forward. I'm going to have to do some more playtesting, but this was my exact list for Philly. As for my matches, Azure Lane wasn't too bad. I didn't have too much of a bad time against Azure Lane in round 1. Bunny Senpai. What exactly happened with Bunny Senpai? I think that if I remember correctly, I don't even remember them activating the My combo for some reason. I don't remember what happened in round 2 for Bunny Senpai. The Nikkei games were not in my favor. Bandori was a loss. Bochi was pretty good. I had a lot of interesting things happen in Top Cut. As I mentioned before, top 8 I ran into 2 Nikkei players. So top 8, my first Nikkei opponent was one of the Nikkeis I lost to in round 3 or round 4. I don't remember if it was 3 or 4. But I lost to them in Swiss, and I fought them again in top 8. They were the undefeated team, if I remember correctly. So I was a little worried running into them. But because I fought them before, I knew what they did or didn't have in their deck. So the entire day, I was really paranoid because Nikkei has a level 1 change kill. Nikkei has a level 1 change kill. But they ended up a lot of decks don't play the level 1 change kill. I saw one person with it in top 4, but most people don't play the level 1 change kill for Nikkei. Myself, I am always paranoid and I side because I don't know if they're holding it. It's happened before. I ran into Avatar in Springfest, I think last year or the year before. Avatar does not normally run a change kill. I did not see the change kill the entire like time leading up to level 2. So I was like, okay, they probably don't play it. They don't normally play it anyway. I haven't seen it. So I fronted Avatar. And they dropped the change kill on me. I asked them after the game, I'm like, were you holding that? You refreshed multiple times before I hit level 2, and I didn't see it, and most decks don't even play it. And what he told me was that he was holding it. That's why I never seen it. He basically held onto it like as soon as he got it and didn't let go. So ever since then, I've been very paranoid to swing into any decks that have a level 1 change kill, even if it's not played normally, because someone might randomly have one. So I lost to Nikkei during Swiss, but then after that game, I asked him, hey, do you play the level 1 change kill? He said no. So that's how I knew when I went to the top 8, I can just front, because he doesn't have it. He doesn't play it. So during top 8, I just fronted on Overlord and to Nikkei because he didn't have it, and I ended up winning that. The Nikkei so we won the top 8, and then we went to top 4, and I won that Nikkei game. Unfortunately, even though I won my game, my teammates didn't. So that's how come we ended up fighting for 3rd. Even still, my teammates did well. I didn't see what A slot was fighting. But since I was sitting next to my B slot, since I was sitting next to Kenshin, I could see what they were playing. And my teammate was running Kenshin into Shauna. And we knew he'd have a bit of a hard time going into it because Shauna has the anti-burn, and he's playing Yahiko, which burns. So, going into that, I had a feeling he'd have a little trouble. So I'm not surprised he lost to Shauna. From what I know, the match was close. And at one point, the guy ended up dropping 2 of the anti-burns in the back. Because, spoiler for... Sorry, Krillin. Krillin runs 2 of the bounces in his Kenshin deck. He runs 2 of the bounces in his Kenshin deck. So, yeah. He did his best to get rid of the anti-burn from Shauna. He was able to get rid of it, but, it's Shauna anti-burn deck versus Kenshin, which is a burn deck. So that's a weird situation. I did win my game, so I am proud of that. I wasn't the one that caused our team to lose in top 4. And that's enough for me, because I would feel really guilty. I would feel so guilty if I was the one who ended up causing my team to lose. So it's Nam's fault. I don't know what happened with Nam. Oh no, I remember. Nam was on. So Namian was on freaking Tokyo Revenger. It was so funny because anybody who ran into him immediately was like, I hate your deck. Anybody who ran into him immediately was like, I hate your deck. I hate Tokyo Revengers. Namian had the worst luck in top 4. So that's what happened. I won my game in top 4, but then it was Kenshin versus Shauna, and then Namian was on Tokyo Revengers. His killing turn, his opponent canceled 5 times. So I don't remember exactly how the attack pattern goes, but what happened is that Baji goes into Mikey, and then Mikey burns for the number of markers you have underneath. So what happened was that he swung, and then like his opponent canceled like 5 times or something. It's even funnier because my opponent looked over, saw his teammate's board state, saw that Namian was on Tokyo Revengers, and was like, oh, he's dead. So my opponent looked over, saw that Namian had set up his Tokyo Revengers board and was gonna swing into his teammate. He looked over, saw his field state, saw his damage, and was like, oh, my teammate's dead, we're losing this round. his teammate canceled 5 times. So yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened, and we didn't move on. We didn't get to fight for finals, but we ended up fighting for 3rd, which we also lost. It was a clean sweep. Our fight for top 3 opponents stomped us. They completely stomped us, but they were very chill and very cool, so I don't mind. The best thing about like going to these events is like seeing all the different players and familiar faces. The opponents that we fought for 3rd and 4th were actually guys that I've fought before. So their B slot was the avatar player I fought during Springfest, I think last year. And my opponent, who was on the C slot and on Bandori, was a face I think I fought in Chicago. So I recognized them, and I knew who they were, because we've seen them. I've seen them before. I travel around for Springfest and BCS all the time. So a lot of the faces were familiar. Besides the fact that, you know, the Nikkei players during top 8 we fought them earlier in the day. Those guys I've also seen before. Their their B slot player actually comes to our locals for WGP. So I recognize him. I know him as the Bandor. I know him as the Bochi the Rock player because he was playing Bochi during WGP at our locals when we had 3 Bochis in top 4 for WGP. So WGP qualifiers is held in New York at CardQuest. So during that year, top 4 was Bochi, 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 and something else. And I recognize him as the Bochi player. So even before top 8, I had seen them before. A lot of the players I ended up like recognizing from other events. So that's what happened. At Philly, it was a lot of fun. But the most fun actually happened during the single elimination tournament. During the single elimination tournament, I was not fighting the dude, but I heard it because it was really loud. Someone dropped the Moderna backup to, you know, save their butt, and they ended up eating the +6. So yeah, that happened at during single elimination. The guy ate 9. He didn't have to eat 9. He dropped the Moderna backup for +6, and he just didn't cancel. The guy just didn't cancel, so he ate 9 when he didn't have to eat the 9. But you know, things like that happened. Another thing that happened was I actually lost round 1 during single elimination to a Nikkei trial deck. But that wasn't the funniest part. The funniest part was that since he was a new player, he was asking me questions, and I could not answer for the life of me. Because when you play Weiss Schwarz, you kind of just instinctively play, and I just don't remember. I just don't know how to explain it, or I don't remember. So, of course, when you play Weiss, you refresh. And he asked me, wait, this is a climax. Does it go back in my deck? And my brain just died. Like I basically couldn't answer any questions this new Nikkei player had for me because I play Weiss Schwarz instinctively. It was so bad that I was like, I don't know if this climax is a 1k1 or not. I don't remember if choice is 1k1 or not. Like, my brain was just fried. I just play on instinct, so I don't remember things. So that happened. I did lose to the Nikkei player, but he ended up giving me the win because he was like, oh, I just wanted the promo and I don't think I'm going to win anyway. It is nice to see new faces in the Weiss Schwarz community and more people playing. The last time I saw a bump and increase in Weiss Schwarz players was during Hololive, when Hololive was first introduced. So so it's nice to see that Nikkei is bringing in a lot of new players. And yeah, I got stomped by a Nikkei trial deck. I also got climax logged again. So that was the thing. The funnier thing that happened was 2 rows to the side of me, I heard this because everyone was talking about it. Krillin was also in the single elimination tournament, and he mulled his mulligan was 4 climaxes. His mulligan was 4 climaxes, and then apparently he ended up drawing 2 more. It was so funny that like people nearby got up and was like, "I'm so sorry for you, man." It was so funny. It was so funny. Everybody was just so casual about it. It was single elimination tournament. The guy Krillin drew his hand and had to mulligan 4 climaxes. Guys from like the guys around that were actually that were in the tournament and getting ready to start got up and was like, "We're so sorry for you, man." That was just so funny. It's does it go back? It does. Yes, the climax does not go back to your deck. Because what happens is that climaxes are in resolution zone. So that's what happens. So when you deck out in Weiss Schwarz, what happens is that the cards stay in resolution zone. Then you refresh your deck, then they go to the waiting. So, but when the guy asked me that, I couldn't answer because my brain was just fried from the day before. And I think most Weiss players just play on it. So I couldn't answer. But yeah, when you check damage in Weiss, it goes to the resolution zone. If you somehow deck out, then you refresh and then the damage goes. So that's how you're supposed to play it. My brain just wasn't working. I forgot, as I said, I forgot what the frick a choice climax is. That's how you know how tired I was. But yeah, another thing that happened was apparently the judge, I don't know his name because I didn't ask. Apparently his jaw was about to detach from his face because my teammate Namian played Mitsuya. Is that what the guy's name is? I don't know Tokyo Revengers. He played 5 Mitsuyas in 1 turn. So apparently the judge's jaw was just like slowly detaching. His jaw was slowly detaching from his face as Namian was playing 1 Mitsuya after the other. Is that his name? Tokyo. Is that what his name is? Mitsuya, the one that like on play burns or something? I think that's his name. I don't remember what his name is. It's the red that on play it burns. I don't remember what his name is. I just know it's level 3 that burns. But yeah, Namian ended up playing 5 of them in 1 turn, and the judge was just like in shock. That judge probably had the most interesting, like probably watched the most interesting games ever over the weekend. So yeah, very interesting things happened. But the thing that means the most to me is that I finally got a top. I've been playing Weiss Schwarz since 2017, and it totally happened by accident. So before playing in 2017, I actually, I think like most people, you start off collecting Weiss. You start off collecting Weiss because there's a series that you like. And for me, that was Love Live. The Love Live mobile game had come out, the anime had come out, and I was really into Love Live. So I had purchased some Love Live Weiss Schwarz boxes. And during that time, nobody in my group played Weiss Schwarz. Like, actually played. There were some guys, I was on a gaming team. There were some guys that, you know, knew how to play the game, but they weren't like competitive. They didn't really play Weiss Schwarz. So my team captain at the time, I had asked him, "Hey, can you show me how to play Weiss Schwarz?" And this is when Love Live Set 1 had basically just come out. I had purchased like a box and a half. Really happy I pulled a foil because it was a full box, but nothing else in my empty packs, and it was a Nico. So pretty happy about that. And during the game when he was teaching me how to play Weiss Schwarz, he would play a card and go, "I hate this game." Play another card and go, "I hate this game." And like that was the whole, basically, that was my first introduction to playing Weiss Schwarz, which is not the most pleasant way to be introduced to the game, to be honest. Like, as I said, he was a Vanguard player that just happened to know how to play Weiss. So I am thankful that he tried to teach it to me. But after that, I didn't want to play Weiss. I didn't want to play Weiss. It wasn't a pleasant experience, especially when your teacher giving you the teaching you how to play the game goes, I hate this game every time he puts a card on the board. So I didn't touch Weiss. I didn't touch Weiss after. I collected Love Live cards because I like Love Live, but that was my first experience playing Weiss, and I didn't really enjoy it. Fast forward to 2017, and I was attending regionals as per usual. But Bushiroad was doing something very interesting with regionals that year, that being splitting Vanguard into day 1 and day 2. So to qualify for day 2, you had to be X2 by the end of day 1, which unfortunately I was not. So all my teammates, everyone was there. I had teammates that qualified for day 2, but I didn't qualify. I didn't qualify for day 2. So what was I gonna do for day 2? I had nothing to do. I didn't have a Weiss Schwarz deck. I didn't have a buddy fight deck. I didn't have a luck and logic deck. But what happened was there was another Vanguard player who also played Weiss that had qualified for day 2 for Vanguard, but he was more of a Vanguard player than a Weiss player, so he decided to prioritize Vanguard over Weiss. He allowed me to borrow his deck for that regionals because he wasn't going to be using it. He qualified for Vanguard day 2, so he wasn't going to be playing Weiss. So that's the deck I don't have on me because it was a deck I borrowed. So 2017, if you guys want to make the guess in chat what I was playing, it's a set that isn't supported that hasn't had support in a very long time. And I don't think it's gonna get support. So the first Weiss deck that I ever played at regionals was Kancolle. It was Kantai Collection. It was a Congo red-green deck. So that was my first ever Weiss Schwarz deck in 2017. And it was my first time ever playing Weiss Schwarz. And it was a deck that I borrowed from someone. They were trying to teach me how to play Weiss Schwarz all over again because I hadn't played since that experience, that teaching game. So they were trying to teach me how to play Weiss Schwarz, like maybe like 15 minutes before it started. That was like my first time actually really playing Weiss. I think it was like maybe like 6 or 7 rounds for that tournament. It was really funny though because he was rapidly teaching me how to play Weiss. I didn't know, and he didn't teach me that the soul was here. So I was swinging with level 3s. I was swinging with my level 3 during my first game, saying front for 1 because I thought all units swung for 1 damage. Because he did not tell me that the soul was on the bottom of the card. He didn't tell me that the soul was on the bottom of the card. So I was basically just slowly learning Weiss throughout the day, and making good use of my time. I basically gave my opponents the win, all the wins that they could ever ask for, because I'm like, hey, I don't know how to play this game too well. I learned like 15 minutes before regional started. I'm gonna give you the win anyway, but I want to learn how to play this game. I want to learn how to play this game. Everyone was so friendly and nice to me. And like it was such a big like change from Vanguard that I decided I wanted to play more Weiss after it was over. It was also really bad too because I didn't know what exactly the difference between front and side attacking was. So what happened was I forgot what round it was. I think it was like round 5 or something. Because I didn't know the difference between siding and fronting. I needed 1 damage for lethal. I kept siding. Because I didn't know the difference between siding and fronting. And no one had told me. So that's when I learned what fronting and siding was. So during the tournament, I learned that the souls was on the bottom of the card. And I learned that if I want to deal 1 damage, I can just front and crush my unit for 1 instead of siding for 0 and hoping for a trigger. So that was a very interesting first ever regionals for me. 2017, my first ever regionals. I didn't know what I was doing. I was borrowing someone's Kantai Collection deck, and that was my first deck for Weiss Schwarz, which I do not have, so I can't show it to you. But I do have the deck I built after that experience. As I said before, I was collecting Love Live. I was collecting Love Live because I liked the cards. I couldn't keep the Kancolle deck. It was someone else's. So when next regionals rolled around, I couldn't, and he wanted to play. I couldn't just, steal the guy's deck. So trying to graph side attacking till now. Yeah, it's there's a lot of terms in this game. I've been trying to teach people how to play too. So yeah, what happened was I decided to build my Love Live deck. So the deck I played in 2018 was Love Live. So this is the Love Live deck I played in 2018. This is the We Are a Single Light, or I found out during that regionals that it's actually called the Metamuse deck. I had no idea what this deck was called. When you first played, no one told you need color for climax. Yeah, that's also a thing that happened, which was terrible for me because Metamuse is a tricolor deck. So this was the deck I played in 2017. I didn't know it was called Metamuse until I went to regionals with it, and someone was like, "Oh, you're playing Metamuse." I'm like, "What's Metamuse? This is called Metamuse." So this was the deck I played for regionals in 2018. And I do have SPs in here. It was also pretty bad, or variation of the deck I played, because I think some of these cards I didn't have at the time. But the funny thing is that during that, the day of regionals, I didn't have my Nikos. So, I didn't have my Nikos. So it would just be Muse Band thing. I think this deck was considered meta, I wouldn't, by the time I was playing it in 2018, it was not meta. But I think the deck, I'm not really sure where the name even came from, but since the name is Metamuse, I assume it was meta at some point. But yeah, this is a variation of the deck I played during 2018, because at that time I believe my deck was mainly all green. It was an all green Love Live deck. It was an all green Love Live deck because my favorite characters were Nozomi, Nico, and Ellie, so it was an all green. It was an all green deck. And then it ended up, because Bushiroad has 2 tournaments a year, so the first time I played this deck, it was all green, and then the second time I played it was the actual Metamuse deck. So this was played for Springfest and also played for BCS, but during Springfest it was an all green deck, and then during the autumn it was a full Metamuse deck. So during the Springfest in 2018, I did not have my Nikos yet. So what happened was the Vanguard guys that also play Weiss were running around the venue trying to help me find these Nikos. So I am so thankful they were able to find it, and I'm so thankful that someone had them. But for Springfest 2018, I did not have my Nikos. I did not have my Nikos until maybe 5 minutes before the tournament started. So let me split these up. So this was my deck for BCS 2018. because Springfest 2018 it was an all mono. It was an all mono Love Live deck. So 4 Nikos for We Are a Single Light. Nozomi, Stock Swap, and the Rin. Followed by... I'm not sure why I'm playing 3. I think this should be at 4. I don't know what my brain was thinking at the time. But yeah. So the Nico and the Kotori use the same climax combo along with the Maki with the level 1. It's also really funny because I brought this deck to... What's it called? I brought this deck to my locals for Music Cup, and my opponents did not know these were climax combos. And it's not their fault. They didn't know that these were climax combos because there's no climax red text on them. Because all the climax combos these days have like the red text that says climax on them. But I went into level 1 with Maki. This is the level 1 Maki, that's the climax combo. I went into level 1 with Maki, and I was like, climax combo. And then they're like, where? And I'm like, it's that. And they're like, oh, I didn't know that was the climax combo. It doesn't have the red text on it. So that's also really funny. That's also really funny. That, if you bring an old deck against like a newer player, they're only looking for the climax combo red box, or they'll most likely look for the red climax combo red box and then not realize that that because it's an old set, it doesn't have the red box. Let's see. Oh, there's that. Maybe I didn't sort these out correctly. I'm gonna try to fit all of this. I don't know what myself was thinking back in the day when building this deck, honestly. It was fun bringing this out for Music Cup. And having my opponent go like, you have a climax combo on board? Where? 4 of the runners. I was at the regionals. I actually bought a Love Live DX box and pulled this. So this was my first ever like pulled SP. So this Ellie holds a very special place in my heart. So this was my first ever SP. Let's see. And then, oh, this was also a funny thing that happened. When I was trying to put this in for Music Cup, I couldn't find the foil on Bushi Navi. I don't know if they fixed it, but I couldn't find this Hanayo on Bushi Navi. I don't know if they've changed it since then, but that was definitely interesting. It wasn't a problem back in the day because you had to physically write your deck lists back then. But yeah, that happened. So yeah, this was I played Love Live in 2018. It was a mono green deck during Springfest, and then it was a Metamuse deck for Autumn BCS. So this is my Love Live deck. I don't even remember what half of these cards do. I think that's the stock swap. Nico is a clock kicker. These are my runners. The Kotoris are ping on 1 with the climax combo. So the Nico, the Maki, and the Kotori all use the same We Are a Single Light climax. Most people don't play the bar version. So We Are a Single Light as a climax comes in all 3 colors. So We Are a Single Light comes in like all the faces of the Muse girls, and it comes in red, green, and blue. Most people play the blue one. I played bar because I like Nozomi. As you guys can probably see, I got the foils, the foil climaxes. Lovely Nozomi. One of these was actually a gift from Krillin, because he was vending at one of the not him, but Silk Road was vending at one of the Bushiroad events, and he saw someone had a We Are Single Light Nozomi, so he's like, Harry's been looking for this. Let me pick this up. So one of these was a gift from Krillin. from when Silk Road was vending at one of the Bushiroad events. So it's 4-bar and 4-door. Because you can't play 8-bar We Are Single Light because it's the same name. So this was my deck for 2018. Yeah. So, and then this is my first ever SP that I ever pulled. And this I actually picked up at one of the regionals. I forgot which store had it. But it was not in their display case. It was not in their display case. I went up and there was a nice lady at the counter. I'm like, I'm looking for this card. Do you have it? I don't see it in the display case. And I showed her a picture and she's like, I think I picked that up. And they had picked one up and I purchased it. I think this was like $65 I purchased it for. But yeah, it wasn't in the display case. The lady just happened to have picked whoever was like buying cards that day just happened to pick it up, and she's like, yeah, I think we picked that up. So really happy for Nozomi's Mythic girl. So this was my deck. 2018. 2019, I ran 2 different decks. I ran one deck for Springfest, and then I ran another deck for BCS. And that was my first time ever for WGP. So I had not played Japanese Weiss Schwarz before 2019. 2019 was my first ever WGP. And it was very, very interesting. Mainly because there was I actually forgot about this until I was like conversing with the guys at my locals, like via our like Facebook Discord group. Yeah, we're old. We use Facebook. I was conversing with my Facebook Discord group because I couldn't remember what deck I played what year. So I had asked them, and someone was like, "Didn't you play that in 2019?" And they remember a guy at WGP being very annoyed at me because my WGP deck was a Resonate deck. And he wanted me to go Resonate on every single card instead of saying I Resonate all. I don't actually know what the proper play is. So, yeah. I didn't even remember that happened. Is this the right deck? Yeah. So this is my WGP deck. This is my Springfest deck, and where is my BCS deck? Which is my BCS deck? This is my BCS deck. So, we'll save this lovely lady for last. But we'll start with WGP. So my WGP deck for 2019 was, I guess you can probably guess, Cardcaptor Sakura. Cardcaptor Sakura was my 2019 WGP deck. It is a Resonate deck, and because of that, my opponent was very annoyed and wanted me to Resonate every single card instead of going Resonate all. If anybody knows what the actual proper procedure is, please let me know, because I do not remember. I have not played this deck since, like, I don't know, have I taken this out deck recently? I don't remember. So this was my deck for WGP 2019. Go. We go here. So I had purchased this, I did not intend on ever playing Japanese Weiss Schwarz. I never intended. So the deck is, gosh, where is it? So you have to show a secure card for a lot of the skills. So a lot of the cards in this deck are activated by showing a secure card from your hand. So it's Standby Door. So you're supposed to stand by this really big Sakura. And then... Let me separate all of this. Yeah, it's... So... The deck operates using the secure cards. There's different versions of secure. I believe 2 of these are draw and 1 of these is power. I think this one's draw. This one. I actually don't remember how this deck works at all, which is probably bad. But that's because I ended up playing a different Sakura deck recently. So hint hint on what I was playing during WGP 2014. So back in 2019, Bushiroad had announced Cardcaptor Sakura as an English exclusive. And I was like, okay. Was it 2019 that they announced it? I think it might have been 2018 they announced it and then came out in 2019. So what happened was they announced Cardcaptor Sakura, which is one of like my favorite anime like ever, and I have attachments to it, that they announced it as an English exclusive set. I was like, oh great, Sakura! The series that like means so much to me and I grew up watching, and probably is the main reason I even got into freaking card games in the first place. Great. Then during one of the Bushi conferences, they announced that they were making a Japanese Cardcaptor Sakura set. Yeah, you have to show. Yeah, most decks have you show like their finisher, the level 3. For Cardcaptor Sakura, you have to show secure, which is these events. There's different versions of it. People play different ratios. This was the ratio I played. And then they announced that JP was getting Cardcaptor Sakura, and it's a completely different set of cards. I was like, oh, drat, I guess that means I'm gonna finally be playing Japanese Weiss Schwarz. So this was my first ever Japanese Weiss Schwarz deck. I didn't pre-order this, actually. There was a guy at my locals. Oh, thank you so much for the congrats. I am sorry I didn't see until now. I'm bad at looking at 2 chats at the same time. But thank you so much for the congrats. Yeah, let me move this so this is correct. So I didn't pre-order the playset. I didn't even know that pre-ordering playsets were a thing in 2019. I didn't even know pre-ordering playsets was a thing in 2019. So I was like, how the heck am I gonna get my hand on Cardcaptor Sakura in Japanese? Because like how? Like I don't know where. So I was lucky enough that one of the guys at my locals had purchased a playset, and he didn't like the deck. He didn't like the deck, and he wanted to sell it to get some funds for another deck, which I totally understand, and it happens all the time. It's always actually happening at my locals that people are selling like their playsets and stuff to buy other decks. So I was lucky enough that one of the guys at my locals didn't like playing Sakura, and he wanted the funds to buy other cards. So he sold me his playset, and that's how I was able to get this deck. This was my first ever WGP deck. I had no idea how WGP worked. I had messaged Homu I think 3 days before WGP happened, and I'm like, hey, do I need a deck list? Do I need to write a deck list? What do I need for WGP? He's like, yes, you need a deck list. Also, you need translations. And I'm like, what do you mean translation? I had no idea going into WGP what the heck it was like. So it was like 3 days before WGP, found out that you needed translations, you need a deck list as normal, you needed either insert, you either needed inserts or you needed translations like in a booklet. So yeah, 3 days before I got myself ready for WGP, and this is what I played. Yeah, so this is the door standby deck that I played for WGP. I completely forgot until, as I said. So what happens is a lot of these cards use resonate. Like, you have to resonate with secure cards. So let's say I had like 3 cards on the board that needed me to resonate. I went resonate all, and my opponent was not happy. He's like, no, you have to go resonate, resonate, resonate. And I was like, really? So yeah, I completely forgot about that until one of the guys at my locals brought it up. He's like, wasn't that the time where the guy was complaining about you using resonate improperly? I was like, I don't know. I don't remember. But apparently that's the thing that happened with this deck. This was my WGP deck for 2019. Which will lead into my Springfest deck for 2019. That guy sounds picky. It's going on with your nice silhouette. I'm not sure how to understand that, but thank you for the compliment. But yeah, I'm showing off the decks I have played over the years for Weiss Schwarz. As I said, I completely forgot that even happened, the resonate situation. Until one of the guys at my locals told me, like, I remember that regionals. That guy was being very picky and insisting you resonate everything. So since I said it, you guys can probably guess what my deck is. My Springfest deck was for 2019. Specifically for Springfest, because I played a different deck for BCS. There it is. Oh, her story! Oh, my character's story is that she got isekai'd. She got isekai'd. So this isn't the Cardcaptor Sakura card game. This is the Cardcaptor Sakura, the Cardcaptor Sakura, first Cardcaptor Sakura set for Weiss Schwarz in Japanese. And that was the deck, this was the deck I played in 2019 for WGP, which is the World Grand Prix, or the Japanese, like, big tournament for Weiss Schwarz. Yeah, so the story is that I got isekai'd into another world. Oh, no. So so my character is, well, I'm supposed to be I am actually really superstitious. I'm very superstitious, so I wear, like, bunny ears and 4-leaf clovers for good luck. I'm not actually a bunny. Let me see if I can... Oops. I'm not actually a bunny. I just happen to this is also a thing in real life. I'm very superstitious about, like, stuff. Do you guys do the power shuffle or, like, deck sleeve thing? Because I do. If my deck is, like, not behaving, I change sleeves. Yeah. This top playmat for top 4. My head is blocking it. my head is blocking it. So I'm a very superstitious member of the student council. I like having good luck related stuff with me at all times. The pin on my head is the pin that the student council wears. So it's the vice president, and then it's the treasurer, and what's the other one? I don't remember. But yeah, so the 4-leaf clover on my head is for good luck and also represents the members of the student council. They're actually detachable. I just don't remember what button it was. Yeah, I don't remember what button it was. They're actually detachable. I think my redeems are broken. Wait, hold on. Let me try to do the redeem. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not actually a bunny. I'm just superstitious as heck. I'm one of those people that will re-sleeve my entire deck if I think there's something wrong. I think like I'm very superstitious. I believe in good luck. That I believe that foils stack and all this other stuff. But yeah, this is my first top after like this is my first ever top after playing Weiss for like 8 years. So I've been just reminiscing about like all the stuff that's happened over the years. So, oh, that is not a. These are the extras. I still have extras. I haven't touched this deck in so long. I still have extras in my deck. And my left eye is a reference to the fact that I actually don't have the best eyesight. I actually wear glasses in real life, but I didn't want glasses on my model, so that's why I wanted some representation for the fact that I'm like my eyes aren't perfect, basically. So, that's why I have one regular eye and one like not white eye. Yeah, this is my deck for Springfest 2019. Since I mentioned I like Sakura and that's why I bought my first ever JP Weiss set, I think you guys probably guessed that my first ever English my first deck for 2019 is Sakura. Drink some water. If I remember correctly, also Sakura was the first ever English exclusive set we got. So why are some of these upside down? Oh, that is not part of my deck. I picked this up. I forgot. I gotta put this with my other foils. I forgot I picked this Tomoyo up. I gotta organize. We're probably gonna find random things in these deck boxes. So, Sakura was my WGP deck, and it was also my Springfest deck, which is different. This entire deck is mostly foil, if I remember correctly. So did English have... Yes. So English Sakura and JP Sakura had completely different cards. They did reuse some of the art, which is funny. I don't really know how to like appropriately like approach superstitions and stuff. It's just, for me, it's just it's just something that has always been like part of me. I don't think superstitions are a taboo subject at all. Oh. Yeah, this deck is blinged out. I think everything in here is max rarity. Unless I'm forgetting something. I'll put the shiny cards here. Oh, wait, let me put the shower in there. I'm still hoping to this day that we get another English Sakura set. I like the change mechanic, but at the same time, I'm like, I know giving English Sakura standby would make it too broken, but at the same time, it doesn't change the fact that I still wish for it. I think luck-related superstitions go away once it's revealed, so you never mention lucky items out loud. I'm not sure. Did I only play 3? I thought I played 4. Okay, I'm going insane. Also, my memory might be terrible because I don't remember like half the stuff that is in here. I was so sure I was playing 4. I think that even I feel like if we got standby for Sakura, it'd make it too strong. Because then you can stand by out the level 2 at level 1 and then automatically change into the 3. I do think it would make it too strong. But at the same time, like, I want a second set for Sakura, Ian, please. So yeah. 4 white dress Sakuras. These were secrets. So you were not guaranteed 1 per case for these. I think these were like, I forgot how much these were. I purchased these for. I think they were like 250 a copy or something like that when I first got them. I forgot how much they were. They were either 250 or 150 each. And I didn't pull any of these. I bought this was like my first time buying a case, by the way. This set was the first white set I bought a full case for. And I was slowly saving money for it over the few months. So Dave, who's the owner of CQ, is super duper awesome. And this case was able to be paid off, part of it. Oh, thank you so much. Hope you have a good rest of your day. So this case was like partially paid off using like tournament winnings and stuff. So super duper awesome. These are my level 2. So these Sakuras drove me insane. They're so beautiful. I wanted 4. These are my treasures. The Sharon also came secret, but I don't play them. 1 copy of the card is probably worth more than a case now. Yeah, I think 1 copy of this card is probably worth more than a case now. Yeah, these aren't guaranteed per case, so it was a bit of a pain to track these down. But I really like Sakura, so I really wanted to max out this deck if I could. I think the Sharons were cheaper. I think the Sharons were like 100 per copy, which wasn't like too. I think it was 80 actually. I think the Sharons were 80 per copy, which isn't too bad. I ran 4? Research is a good idea. I don't remember playing 4 of these Sharons. I don't know why. I thought I played only... I don't remember playing 4 of them. I don't remember playing 4. I don't know why. Maybe... It has been a long time since I've taken this back out. See? For me, I think card game superstitions are the thing like I believe in the most. You know what? Let's put Sakura and Shara next to each other. Let's put my very, very nice. That's probably why the Sharon was in here. Because this is my deck box still. So these are probably the last 2 cards I got foil from my deck. These are what the base rarities look like. These were probably the last 2 cards I got foiled in my deck. And that's probably why the common versions are still sitting in the box. Yep, rabbit. I don't have a rabbit foot hanging from me. I would not do that. I would not chop off a rabbit's foot for good luck. But I do have rabbit ears. So that's one thing. Where are my level 1s? Oh wait, level 2s now? So, I was pretty annoyed though to find out that the JP and English Sakura sets were gonna be different. But I now have because of that, it opened up the rabbit hole to WGP for me, so I am thankful for that. Four of the that Sakura, and then oh right, SP Tomoyo too. I do believe I have a full playset. I don't know where I put it because I only rented it. So the Tomoyo's a Musashi, if I remember correctly, right? Yep, Tomoyo is a Musashi. There's like not enough room on this table. Oh wait, I do play 4. I was like, there's no way I don't play 4. That's the climax combo. But yeah, this was my deck for Springfest 2019. I don't think this deck is that good. I think a lot of people play the Reflect build instead of the Record build. The Reflect build is... I think the Reflect build was red. I think it was on Door. But yeah, this is Barwind. Yeah. So my climaxes are all foiled. The whole deck is basically all foiled. I don't think these came foil, because if they did come foil, I would have blinged them. I would have blinged them out. But yeah. This was my first deck that I attempted to fully foil out, and also the first set I bought a case for. So, holds a very, very special place in my heart. And that's why it also gets the special deck box. This deck box is like velvet, like padded and everything. Yeah, so this is probably my most expensive deck that I own. So it goes in a very special like velvet deck box. And then this was also one of the secrets. I think it was a Sharon, a Sakura, and a Kero. I ended up pulling the Kero from my case when I opened it, instead of like the Sakura that I actually wanted. Yeah, I think this is that's my runner. That's the Musashi. That is early play. Yeah, I don't want to take this out to play because people are gonna be like, "Why the freak are you playing with those cards? Those cards are stupid expensive." But yeah, I actually played this deck at local stuff and at Springfest. So nowadays, people would probably be in a panic if they saw me playing with this deck. They'd be like, "Wait, that deck is probably over $1,000. Why is she playing with that?" But yeah, this is 100% my most expensive deck that I own. So Sakura's gonna stay at home and only brought out for very special occasions. And as I was saying, this deck actually isn't that good. I think the meta Sakura build was actually Reflect. So after Springfest, I didn't play this. After Springfest, I didn't play this basically ever again, and I switched to a different deck for BCS. So, back into its nice velvet deck box. Yeah, that's also the big difference. And one of the main reasons I ended up wanting to play Weiss. I had such a good experience in 2017 attending regionals that I wanted to play more. That was my 2019 deck. my 2019, this is my 2019 Spring Fest deck. My 2019 BCS deck is completely different. My 2019 BCS deck is this. And it is Revue Starlight. This is like partially foiled, not fully foiled. I have to say that like I'm not saying that I didn't. I straight up think the Weiss community is better in terms of friendliness compared to the Vanguard community. Basically, how Weiss works is that you're recreating the scenes from the show. So the board, it's not shown here, but you have your front stage, your backstage, your waiting room. So you're basically recreating scenes from the anime, prove that your show is the best. So that's how Weiss Schwarz operates, I guess. You can call it that. And the cards are actually very thematically themed to the cards have a lot of flavor and actually reflect the characters. For example, Sakura changes, like the level 2 Sakura changes into the level 3 Sakura. With like the pretty outfit and stuff. Like, she was in a regular school uniform, and then like her skill allows her to change into her battle outfit. It's like everything is very thematic, and it's a lot of fun. Weiss. I say Weiss. I'm not German, and I don't want to attempt to pronounce it in German because then I might offend someone who actually is German. So like that's just how I am. I'm like I feel like I'd be more offensive if I actually tried to pronounce it with a German accent. So I'll just pronounce it with an English accent instead. So let me separate the zeros and stuff here. These are ones. I played this Juna? I don't remember even playing this Juna. Apparently I played that Juna. So this deck was like very interesting, I guess I would say. So I was a fan of Revue Starlight, and I am still a fan. I was a fan of Revue Starlight. And before the set came out, my favorite character was Karuko. After playing the set, my favorite switched from Maya to switched from Karuko to Maya. Oops. I keep bumping into my mic. I'm so sorry, you guys. It's really kind of difficult. Because the mic and everything is in the way. So I had not played this deck when I went to locals that day. This deck was built, and then I went to locals and played maybe like 3 games with it before the tournament started that day, and I ended up winning. And it was my first ever win during a locals tournament was with this deck, or a variation of this, because I don't remember these Junas being at this many copies. Show off some of the foils too. I don't have 4. I have 1, and that's enough to make me happy. Yeah, I also have the SP Claudine too. I have 1 copy of SP Maya and 1 copy of SP Claudine for my deck. But I basically got 3 games in with this deck before tournament started, and I ended up winning the tournament. And because of that, Maya ended up shooting past Karuko and becoming my best girl. My best girl was Karuko before I played this. I'd watched the anime, I'm like, okay, Karuko's my favorite. I play this deck, okay, never mind, Maya's my favorite. And Maya has basically been my favorite girl since. Okay, so this is my... Yeah, move this over because there's no room. Foil. Climaxes are all foil. I had looked over the cards, but I wasn't too familiar. Like, the deck was basically just smushed together, and then I went to the tournament. I went to my locals, got in like 3 games. I wasn't actually even planning on entering. That day. I wasn't even planning on entering that day. I had smushed the deck together, gone to locals, and be like, okay, I'm gonna go to locals and test this deck. And then someone was like, if you want to test the deck, the best thing to do is actually enter a tournament with it. So, yeah, that's what I did, and it ended up winning the tournament. It was my first ever win at locals. It was actually filmed too. I don't know what the guys were doing at my locals, but they were filming the matches. And I actually have footage of it. I still actually have the video, because after I won, I'm like, you guys are filming, right? Can I have a copy? And they're like, yeah, here. So I actually have footage of me playing this deck and winning my first ever locals. But I had not planned on entering like the locals tournament that day. I had just gone there to do some playtesting. The deck was smushed together. I had no games with it before going to locals that day. Got 3 games in. They're like, oh, tournament is starting. You guys want to sign up and stuff like that? And I'm like, okay. I mean, they were right. They were right saying that the best way to test a deck is to actually enter a tournament with it. I was just gonna chill and do friendly games with people who weren't in the tournament. And they were like, you might as well enter the tournament. That's the best way to get practice with the deck. So I had 3 games max before the tournament started, and I ended up taking first. I think I will say this though. I think I got lucky during that tournament because Revue, no one really knew what Revue did. So I think that's how come I ended up winning. There's a thing with Weiss where like you know, is the deck a skill check or is it a knowledge check? Is the deck like a skill check or a knowledge check? And I think in this case, it was a knowledge check because my opponents didn't know what the deck did. I'm pretty sure if they knew, like, if they were familiar with Revue Starlight, and the other thing is that this was not the popular build for Revue at the time. And it still isn't the popular build. The popular Revue build was the Karuko and Futaba build. So I think the reason I ended up winning was because most people didn't pay attention to the Maya or Claudine deck, this deck. So I think I got super duper lucky. I think if the guys at my locals knew what the blue build did, then I would have lost. So I feel like I got extremely lucky. I think I got extremely lucky that I won that local. But it was still my first win at locals, so I'm still super duper happy. That's why this deck is very, very special to me. So this is the Revue Starlight deck I played for BCS because I thought Sakura was a little weak. And after getting first at my locals, I'm like, okay, I'm playing this deck instead. So this is the level 1 climax combo. This is Union, so basically it blind stocks, which is not a popular thing nowadays. This level 1 blind stocks. The climax combo is that every time Claudine attacks, Maya can restand. So I think you needed like 6 stock. Basically what happens is you attack with Maya, then you attack with Claudine, which restands Maya, and then you attack with your other Claudine, which restands Maya again. So that's how this deck works. Yeah, I have 1 foil Maya and 1 foil Claudine. That's enough to make me happy. I don't think it's gonna be fun to try to chase these down if I want to bling this deck out. 1 copy of each is enough for me. And then this is the early play Doorless Climaxes in Waiting Room, and it is Door Pants. Oh. So, yeah, most people don't play blind stock climax combos anymore. It's just like not safe. So that was in 2019, and what happened afterwards was something known as pandemic. So there was no English events in 2020. Well, there was 1 English event in 2020, and I believe there's only 1 English event in 2020. But due to the pandemic, most of the Bushiroad regionals canceled that year. So I don't have any record of what I played for Springfest or for BCS that year because I didn't attend. Because the one closest to me didn't happen. But what did happen was I did attend WGP that year. I attended WGP virtually. WGP was done via online that year, so I ended up playing Sakura again. So nothing too interesting there. 2020, I didn't attend any English events because of the pandemic, but I did attend WGP virtually via online, and I played the same card deck that you saw earlier. I didn't really like attending WGP virtually, so because of that, the next 2 years, 2021 and 2022, I didn't even participate for WGP those years. So the only deck that's of note for 2021 for 2020 was the Blue Cardcaptor Sakura. And then in 2021, I ended up playing Maya again, and I skipped WGP as I said. And then 2022, I finally got off Maya. And it's not Bang Dream. So yeah, basically 2020 and 2021 were basically non-existent for me because of the pandemic. I did WGP 1 year, didn't really like playing card games online. It's kind of a weird thing. I just prefer playing in person. So I did the 1 year of WGP online, decided not to bother with the other 2 years playing online. But in 2022, I finally got off Maya, and I switched to this, which is Mushoku Tensei. I played this for both Springfest and for BCS. And the funny thing is that this deck was actually a gift to me. During Springfest, I did not own this deck. This was a gift. So, as I mentioned before, for teams, we've had like 3 rotating members for our team, and Homu was our teammate for teams 2022. And the one thing to know about Homu is that he does not like playing standby. So, he gave me this to play for Springfest. Then afterwards, he let me keep it. we came 13th for Springfest that year. Yeah, Homu does not. Homu does not like playing standby decks, and Maya's a okay deck, but this was teams, and the last thing I wanted was to drag my team down by not playing a meta deck. I mean, I'm fine playing casuals by myself, you know. I'm fine playing whatever the heck I want for BCS because it's me. I'm not affecting anybody else. But when it's teams, I try to go meta if I can, because if I'm not going meta, then I'm dragging my teammates down. So this isn't the exact build. I think it might be obvious in a few seconds because of him. But yeah, Mushoku, I want set 2. We're getting Bushiroad conference, I think, like next week or 2 weeks from now or something. I'm still waiting for the announcement for set 2 for Mushoku. I'm still waiting for the announcement for Mushoku. But yeah, I played this for Springfest because Homu had lent it to me because we wanted to win because of his teams, and at that time I had not seen Mushoku Tensei. I will say that much. I had not seen Mushoku Tensei. I was completely blind. I was completely blind. I did not know any of these characters. I was playing it because it was the meta, and I didn't want to drag my team down. Okay. I'm waiting for set 2. And I'm saying this after I've actually seen the series. So on the day I was playing this, and actually for a little while, actually, I had not seen Mushoku Tensei. It wasn't until like after, quite a bit after actually, that I actually watched it. What happened was I went to a tournament at my locals, and one of my opponents was like, "You don't actually like that series. You're only playing it because it's meta." Joke's on him. I never even watched the series, so I can't even say if I like or dislike the series. But I did like playing the deck. So that is true. I still really like this Ghislaine because of this. You can't use backups against her. Actually, you can't use backups against her if you have 4 more other 6-sided characters on the board. So yeah, when I play Ghislaine and my board is full, I don't have to worry about backups, which is very, very nice. The Regard was added after the restriction. So Mushoku actually got hit for a little while, and this is the build after the hit, because after the hit I changed my deck, and then I didn't change it back after everything got unhit. But yeah, I really enjoyed playing the deck, and we did, and I think we did pretty well. As I said, we got 13th, which isn't bad. These are the Sylphie sit backups, if I remember correctly. Oh no, it's not the sit backup. It's the cannot deal damage backup. So there's that. There's 4 of them. And then the level 2 Ghislaine, which gives power to the front. Oh, yep, it gives power. No, it gives power to everyone. It's been a long time since I played this. When I was actually thinking about this deck, I thought I played it for longer than I had. So 2022 was the year I actually started traveling for BCS. So prior to 2022, the only BCSs and regionals events I would attend are the ones that were closest to me. So, as I said earlier, I'm located in the New York area. So the only BCSs I attended were the ones in Newark, White Plains, or Albany. Like the ones closest near. 2022 was the first year I started traveling for tournaments. And it was a lot of fun. And a lot of funny things have happened. So I also got my top placements playing Mushoku. My first kind of semi. I got it my first kind of semi top thing. I don't know. I came 10th. Playing Mushoku. So this deck is also very special to me. Because this was that was the highest I had placed before this Saturday. I believe it was in Texas that year. So in Texas that year, see, it was 2022, right? I keep track of my wins, which is probably kind of lame, but you know. I came 10th in Texas playing Mushoku, which I was very, very proud of. I got to sit at the big boys table for the first time. I think I posted it on my YouTube actually in my community tab. That guys, I got to sit at the big boy table. They have 9th and 10th sit at a side table in case anybody fails deck check. No one failed deck check, so I wasn't technically top, but that was as close as I had ever been. I was sitting at the table behind all the big boys. So so this was the Mushoku deck I played in 2022. All of 2022 actually. I didn't actually get off Mushoku until I swithed to Overlord. So I played Mushoku for all of 2022, and I also played Mushoku for Springfest of 2023. So this is the 8 standby build. I know standby decks are kind of iffy with people. Omu doesn't like them. Namian doesn't like standby decks. I personally like standby decks, and whenever I talk to a new Weiss player and try to explain to them what standby is, it kind of gets confusing. One, because I instinctively play, as I said, and also because I don't know how the frick to explain standby to someone who doesn't know who doesn't play Weiss. But yeah, what happened was the underwear backup got hit by the ban list. So the underwear, I don't know if it was completely banned or if it was, I think it was completely banned. But the underwear backup was hit by the ban list. So a lot of people were trying to make changes to see, did my sound die? Okay. Hope everything works. I think the sound died for a second. But yeah, I don't remember what the ban was because it's been a while, but I think it was the underwear backup. The underwear backup got hit, so people were trying to change things up to make the deck still playable. So people in the community came up with playing Sylphie and the level 3 Rijard. And as I said, I personally like standby decks. I'm probably a weirdo in that sense. But yeah, if I can build 8 standby for a set, I will most likely try to build 8 standby for a set. So Mushoku was my go-to deck for all of 2022 and for Springfest 2023. I think it was a sit backup, if I remember correctly. I think the underwear backup was a sit backup. It's been a while. If anybody in chat actually remembers what the underwear backup did, please let me know, because I do not remember. After they unhit it, like I didn't change my deck back, so you know, I don't remember. I think it was a sit backup. I'm pretty sure it was a sit backup. Oh, sorry, poor Roxy's. But yeah, after what that guy said, it was like, oh, you don't actually like the series. You're just playing it cause it's meta. I decided to watch Mushoku. And I actually do like Mushoku Tensei as a series. So I'm actually hoping that we get set. I'm actually hoping we get a set 2. Especially since now we have content. And oh gosh, my throat is as you guys can hear, my voice is kind of a little dead. So give me just a second. I actually finished my water bottle. I'm gonna get another water real quick. Oops. Alrighty. Let me get some water. Okay. So that's my Mushoku deck that I played for 2022 and Spring Fest for 2023. After that, I switched to Overlord. And I already showed you guys my Overlord deck. I played Overlord for 2023, 2024, and 2025. I'm probably gonna be sticking on Overlord for who knows how long. But I did not continue with Sakura for WGP. I switched to a different deck for WGP that year. I think it's one. And this is probably one of the funniest stories that I've had. So, WGP 2023, I played Yohane, or otherwise known as Sunshine in the Mirror. I wanted a more up-to-date deck for WGP that year. And when I say this was the most updated deck you could have played at my locals, it's not an understatement. So WGP has different restrictions than English Weiss Schwarz. So for WGP, you can play a deck basically a week before, as long as there's been a week between the release date and the tournament date. So I had pre-ordered this playset. I was waiting very, very impatiently for this to come into the mail. And it arrived like 3 days before WGP. It arrived in the mail like 3 days before WGP. And the set was so new that Heart of the Cards, which you need, as I mentioned before, for WGP, you need translations. Didn't even have this on their website. They didn't have Sunshine in the Mirror on their website because the set was too new. Thank goodness I had asked one of my friends about this, and they're like, send an email to Heart of the Cards, tell them you need emergency translations. I was like, got it. So Heart of the Cards, I emailed Heart of the Cards, and they added Yohane Sunshine to the Mirror, Sunshine in the Mirror, to their website early because I needed translations for the tournament. If you looked on Heart of the Cards the day of WGP, the only cards that were translated on the website were the cards that I requested because I was playing it. So, I doubt anybody from Heart of the Cards is like watching me or whatever, but if you are, thank you so much for getting the translations in time and doing an emergency translation so I can play this for the tournament. But this is also for people who, like, you know, if you're playing a set that's really, really new for WGP and the translations aren't up, email Heart of the Cards. They will do emergency translations for you so you can use your deck for WGP. By the way, this deck is not good. There was this set literally came out like the week before my WGP. There was no deck list, no like decks that have topped with it because it had just come out. And I didn't top with it either, so I believe the build now for this set is the popular build is the standby build, but there was literally no data on this set because it had literally just come out a week before, and I had to contact Heart of the Cards for emergency translations. So I like Love Live. Love Live is like one of my favorite series, so I had a feeling this wasn't going to come to EN because at this point, Bushi had not given Love Live support in a while. Bushiroad had not given Love Live English support in a while. They had like the most, and even to this day, they've skipped a bunch of Love Live sets. So knowing that this set was not going to come to English made me want to buy it. So, and because I didn't think Sakura was a good idea for WGP that year, I wanted more recent. But yeah, this is really weird. I don't really like this build, honestly. I probably would go with the standby build now that I've like actually played it. This is the Hanamaru like event build and the moving dog the dog build. So how this works is that which dog? Is it this dog? Basically, Yohane needs dogs underneath as a marker to do anything. And you basically summon dogs and then other dogs move dogs underneath her. It's really weird. There's a lot of weird shuffling of dogs. I'm pretty sure like at locals during WGP, all people hear from me is I moved this dog there, I moved that dog there. So there's a lot of weird shuffling with markers for this deck. It's a bit of a pain to play, but it is very funny because you just have dogs moving around all the time. There's also the bodyguard dog, which is this one. I like playing bodyguard. Bodyguard is fun. I know some people don't like playing bodyguard. I personally like playing bodyguard. And then where's the Hanamaru? The Hanamaru looks for like this event, or it can look for this event. Yeah, it's a really weird marker deck. I don't think markers are for me. I just find it funny that I can just yell, I'm moving this dog there, I'm moving that dog there. There's a dog on the board, so I can do this. So that's probably the main reason I wanted to play this. Also because this was never coming out in English, and it's been years and it's still not out in English. Who let the dogs out? Yeah. It's a fun build. I actually learned something really funny during this, during WGP. Because as I basically got no practice with this either, because I got the set 3 days before WGP. You can actually loop these dogs, these two, like you can play one over the other and loop them. I didn't realize that until like halfway through the WGP tournament, because I was missing markers. It happens, and it's really annoying when you're missing markers. And then I realized, wait, you can just play over these dogs over and over again. So it was a fun learning experience. I learned you can loop the dogs, and I learned I don't like marker decks. As much as I like Love Live, this deck is not for me. Which is why I was very glad in 2024 they announced something that was of very, very much interest to me. I don't think I've ever heard that song in its entirety. For me, I try to just buy Japanese sets for me are usually the ones that I'm only interested in buying Japanese sets that I know that won't come to English. I've been very lucky so far, I think, that every single deck that I've bought in Japanese so far hasn't come to English. Sakura is a weird exception because the cards are not the same. But yeah, I've been very lucky that every single set I've bought in Japanese has not come out to English. I don't want to buy the same deck twice. If I really like it, I don't want to buy the same deck twice. I will buy it if I have to, and I think it's like, you know, meta, but for WGP, I'd rather play decks that are not available in English. So yeah. I did not like this deck. I really did not want to play it for the year after, and thank goodness I did not. I didn't have to because they announced a second set for Sakura and JP. They announced a second set for Sakura and JP, and that made me super duper happy. I liked it. Is it this one? Yeah, it is. So, I didn't have to play Dog again. Hello! Oh my gosh! Hey Krillin, how are you? Krillin's in Twitch chat. Hi Krillin, I'm just reminiscing. Thank you so much for carrying me in Philly. Thank you for carrying me in Philly and going 5-1 with Kenshin. So 2024, I didn't have to play Dog again. I didn't have to even worry about building another Yohane deck because they announced anniversary set for Sakura. I was all over it. You give me Cardcaptor Sakura, you're getting my pre-order. Especially since I couldn't pre-order the first time because I didn't even know pre-orders were a thing. So this is the Cardcaptor Sakura deck. I might change it. This is blue-yellow. I think the meta build is actually, this is Pants choice. I'm pretty sure the meta deck is 8 choice. But the most fun card in the deck is this. This Karo has, I don't know if it's still unique text, but at the time of printing, this was unique text. So what happens is that the Karo sends all the damage that you have in your clock to waiting room, and then you take the same amount of damage. And that's the funniest card, like, and the most fun card I think in this deck, more than anything else. So let's say you have 6 cards in your clock. You send all 6 cards to your waiting room, and then you take 6 individual damage. So that means you have a chance to heal with it. That also means you have to be good at keeping track of your climaxes. I think I've done it before where I ended up very, very dumb. I ended up having 6 damage in my clock. And then I healed 1, but then I decked out, so I was still back to 6 anyway. I'm not the smartest, okay? I lose track of cards in my deck all the time. I should have counted. But yeah, count your cards in your deck, count your climaxes in your deck. I was very, very dumb that I did that. Yeah, so every climax you hit, you heal. You basically just like you send all your damage to waiting room, and you hope to hit as many climaxes as possible when you take the new damage. So yeah. The other thing about this deck that I don't really like is that it's an experience deck. I felt, and this is me just complaining because I like Sakura, and I felt like they could have like, this was not a good use. This is not good flavor for this set, I think. I understand the flavor of this set, but I also don't think it's good flavor. So from what I mean by flavor is that the cards relate, or there's a connection for the cards to the actual series. And why is that there? Hold on, that goes there. So like the change mechanic in the English Sakura set, like that's what I consider flavor. Because you can see the connection between the card and the anime, and like that's one of my favorite things, where like you actually see the physical connection between the cards and the series. I don't, and it's even better when like the flavor actually makes the deck good. I think the flavor in this set just makes the deck not as good as it could have been. I feel they could have done something else. So yeah, this is the Pants Choice deck that I played in 2024 for WGP. And how this deck works is that ideally you get one Sakura card, one Clo card, and one Secure in your level zone. And for me, that was just not fun. Being forced to... You're not forced to, but like having to play this many events in a deck is not fun for me. There are people who like playing event decks. I am not one of them. There are people who like playing, what was it, Torch and Knife. What are the other event decks? I'm trying to think, like Goblin Slayer. What's the other one? Dungeon. There's a lot of like event-based decks out there. And I personally don't like playing event decks. Freeren's also another like event-based deck. Or they have an event-based deck. I don't like playing event-based decks. I don't think this was necessary. I think they could have done something else. This set was released. This was called the Cardcaptor Sakura Anniversary set. Yeah, so Dungeon, Dungeon, Goblin Slayer, I forgot what other decks are event decks. But I personally don't like playing event decks. I understand what they were going for with requiring a Clo card, a Sakura card, and a Secure card in your level zone, but I think they could have done something else for this, for Sakura's anniversary. It's cute, but I think it's a cute, like, fun flavor, gimmick, whatever, that makes sense for Sakura as a set, but I think because of the requirements of this, it makes it so the deck isn't as good as it could be. And as I said before, this is from someone who doesn't like playing event-based decks, and this is from someone who really, really likes Sakura. Like, that I feel like they could have done better. I don't know how they could have done better, because I don't build custom card sets or anything, and like I don't know what goes into making a set. I just think Sakura deserved better. I just think Sakura deserved better because I adore this show so much. And like that's just me. It's a cute set. I do think it's boggled down by needing to play all these events. The best thing out of this deck is the Kero. This is like my favorite card, like, from the set. I did try to play 4, by the way. There was a time where this deck list actually had 4 because I really like the Keros that much. But as you can see, I ended up not playing 4 for WGP. And as you can also see, this doesn't use any cards from the previous clear card set. So I haven't, because like you need the anniversary trait so like you need the anniversary trait for a lot of the stuff. So this deck basically doesn't use anything from the old set. I could have tried to build like a deck with like the clear card trait and whatever, but from what I was seeing, everybody was just kind of like ditching their old Sakura deck to build just like a strictly anniversary deck. So that's basically what I did as well. But yeah, this is my deck for this was my deck for 2024 WGP, and I will not be playing this again for this upcoming WGP. So WGP is actually coming up for me real soon. WGP is November 4th for me. So I'm not gonna be playing this. I'm not gonna be playing this for WGP. Instead, I'll be playing something else. As for what I played last year and this year, I'm basically gonna be stuck on Overlord forever. Yeah, so I'll be happy if they give me more Sakura. Even though I wasn't too happy with this, I don't care. I'm still happy with this purchase because I like Sakura. Like Sakura is such like I wanted to win the top, I think it was top 4, top 8 mat for Sakura. I ended up not winning, so I ended up approaching one of the guys who won, and I bought the mat off him. That's how much I really wanted this. Like, I'm so into Sakura. I bought the top, I think it was top 8. I bought the top 8 Sakura mat off the guy. I bought the top 8 mat off the guy. One of the guys who won, who topped at my regionals because I really like Sakura. I also own 4 copies of the World Championship promo, for the English version of Sakura. So the World Championship promo was not printed in a lower rarity in the set, so the only way to get that card is to buy the World Championship promo. So yeah, I have 4 copies of the World Championship promo. I bought the top 8 playmat off one of the guys who topped because it had Sakura on it. Is there anything coming out that's exciting for me? Not really at the moment. I'm like, as I said, I'm probably gonna be an Overlord for the longest time until something exciting for me. Where the frick is it? Where's my WGP deck for? Ah, there it is! So I'm gonna be on Overlord probably for all of BCS. All of BCS 2025, 26. And I'll be on Overlord as... Actually, no. I know I'll be on Overlord because we're not getting it yet because it hasn't been confirmed. But I'm hoping we get the announcement for it. JP got the Overlord Premium Booster, and no, it's the Extra Booster. JP got the Overlord Extra Booster, and they're in the middle of previews, I think, for the Premium Booster. So I know I'll be playing Overlord for a long time. So I'll be stuck on Overlord until at least until like after the Premium Booster finally comes out in English. Yeah, because I keep mixing it up. I think it was the Extra Booster that's out already, and it's the Premium Booster that's supposed to be coming out soon. But yeah, I'm gonna be on Overlord for a long. It's funny. What was it? While I was after top placements in Philly, Jazzy, who's I think he's part of like the Refresh Point like podcast thing, and he's also a judge. Jazzy's also a Weiss Schwarz judge. He approached me and he's like, "Congratulations on being one of the 3 Overlord players that are left." so yeah, I'll be on Overlord for a while. So my WGP deck for November: Heaven Burns Red. Which I don't think anybody is surprised by. I was opening boxes for this like on stream I think a few months ago. Still making tweaks to it. It's not set in stone that this is my actual deck list. So take this deck list with a grain of salt. I still need playtesting to do with this. I believe the meta builds is either this or it's the standby build. I tested the standby build on the sim a few months back, and I didn't really like it. I didn't really like it too much, so I'm most likely just gonna go with this build. which is the wind build. So yeah, if you're attending WGP on I think it's November 4th or November 6th at CardQuest, this is what I'm playing. This is what I'm playing. Prepare to have your units winded off the board. So if anybody doesn't know what Heaven Burns Red does, their finisher is basically mini Escanor. It's basically mini Escanor, but you need the lane to be open, which is very fun in my opinion. I actually really like Escanor. One of my teammates actually had a 7 Deadly Sins deck lying around that I could have played for teams instead of Overlord. Only problem is that I don't do well with decks that make you fetch pieces. Especially since tournaments are kind of long and my brain will short circuit if I play decks like that. I know my strengths and weaknesses, and long days are definitely my weakness. I'd prefer to highlight an easier deck and a more comfortable deck than playing a more meta deck that requires more brain work. That's just how I am. Other people, other people can adapt to decks really, really quickly. I cannot. It usually takes me a month to learn a deck. Like to actually like really grasp a hold of it. So it's really, really, I'm really, really weird in that way. So that's also why I'll be sticking to Overlord, just because I feel comfortable on it. Like, I think most people, once they look at Weiss Tea Time and they see what the heck we were playing in top, people would be very confused. Oh, no problem. Have a good day. I think when people look at Weiss Tea Time and they see the deck lists for our team, they're gonna be very confused because we don't really have any meta decks on there. I think I'm probably the most meta of our team, because it was Tokyo Revengers. It's Tokyo Revengers, Henshin, and Overlord. I think of the three of us, I'm the highest tier deck there. And it's not that we didn't have access to the other meta decks. Like, I have Nikkei. I played Nikkei during Nikkei Cup. I have Nikkei sitting, like, behind me. It's not really meta anymore, but I also have Bunny Senpai. The only meta deck, like, the big top decks that I don't have is Bandori. But, like, I have access to more meta decks. It's just that I have paperwork to do. I have IRL stuff to take care of, and I don't pick up decks that easy. So would have been better if I was like on Nikkei instead of Overlord, yeah. But I will say this right now, there's no way I would have played Nikkei optimal, because it takes me at least a month to learn a deck. And also, I didn't really like Nikkei's playstyle when I played it during Nikkei Cup. So for me, it's comfort over everything else. And Overlord is just very comfy as a deck. I took a break from playing Overlord for a little while. Like, not an actual break, because I like playing Weiss Schwarz Blau a lot. I'm probably, like, I have 4 Weiss Schwarz Blau decks. I've opened 4 Weiss Schwarz Blau cases, because there's no place that actually sells, like, Weiss Schwarz Blau playsets. So every time, like, Weiss Schwarz Blau releases a set that I like, I have to buy a full case. So I like playing Weiss Schwarz Blau. So from time to time, I just, like, put Eins in a corner. I put Eins in a corner, and then I come back to him, like, a few weeks later, and he's still comfy. He's still comfy. So why bother switching to a different deck? Oopsies. I keep bumping into my mic. I'm sorry, you guys. So that's probably one of the weirdest ways to describe Eins, that he's comfy. But yeah, for me, it's more comfort than anything. I think would our team have probably had an easier time topping if we played like Bunny Senpai, Nikkei, like the other higher tier decks? Yeah, sure. But they have me on the team who sucks at adapting. So, yeah. Ended up buying Week 4 Restrictions, hilarious. Yeah, I think a lot of people were also expecting the restriction, but I think the restriction also caught people off guard. At my locals, at least, when they announced the restrictions, people were like, "Oh, we gotta change our teams up and stuff." It's not about like, because we knew the bunny restriction was coming. The question was when. So when the restriction came out, the guys at my locals was like, "Oh, okay, we gotta adapt and change things." Hello. So yeah, this is gonna be most likely my deck for WGP. As I said, I'm still ironing the kinks out of it. I've been like on-off testing it because I've been focusing on Summerfest and stuff. But this, I think there's only a few adjustments. I think there's the Karen backup that I see a lot of people play that I don't play. That I was kind of iffy on it. That might go in here instead. I think there's also the Yuki that a lot of people play that I also don't have on my deck list. So those might be the only adjustments between now and WGP. But yeah, this is probably gonna be my WGP deck for a while. There isn't really anything that I have my eye on in like for Japanese Weiss Schwarz. The only other set that I really like is the Order of Rabbit. And because I didn't get into playing Japanese Weiss Schwarz until like a good chunk later, Bunny Rabbit is kind of a weird thing for me because I don't know the history for the cards. I don't know how many of the old cards I need, how many of the new cards I need. So like every time I see is the Order of Rabbit cards on Twitter when Bushiroad does the reveals, I'm like, man, those cards are so pretty. I wish I bought Bunny. And that set has never come to English, and I don't think it's ever gonna come to English. It has like way too many sets, so it's too much of an investment for me to go get Bunny. I think people say that you don't really need too much of the old cards for Bunny. Rabbit. Bunny is Bunny Senpai, Rabbit is Coffee. Okay, yeah. So the only other JP set that I've really been interested in is the Order of Rabbit, and that's because the art's really pretty, and I watched some of the anime. I have Grandpa actually sitting on a shelf, like over there. You guys can't see because I don't have my camera on, but yeah, I have Grandpa sitting on my shelf. And actually, if you go back to like some of my old videos, you see him because I had him with me when I was rolling on D4DJ, and they had a Is the Order of Rabbit collab. So yeah, I have Grandpa sitting up there on my shelf, and like I like Is the Order of Rabbit. It's just gonna be too annoying, and I'm gonna want to get all the cards, so I'm not gonna bother. Regardless of what I do with this for WGP, it doesn't matter because we all know Idolmaster is gonna top anyway. So yeah, WGP is basically for fun for me this November because like Idolmaster's winning. There's no point. The only thing is that if maybe someone like doesn't want the invite, or like people aren't gonna be like competing because like they don't want to travel to WGP Nationals, then maybe I have a chance. Maybe I have a chance. I would like to go to WGP Nationals. Not Nationals. Yeah, Nationals. I like to go to WGP Nationals once in my life. But if everyone else wants to go to Nationals and someone's playing Idolmaster, I have no chance. So I'm not gonna kid myself. I have no idea. I don't know. I know Idolmaster is topping. I don't know what build. I I think there's like one guy at my locals that plays Idolmaster. Are you worried about Kaiju 8? I have not fought against Kaiju 8. No one at my locals plays Kaiju 8. So I'm kind of in my own little bubble for the most part. I don't usually go out of my way to like play against Japanese decks unless people at my locals has it. So the JP decks that I'm worried about is ReZero. There's a guy at my locals who I've fought multiple times that has ReZero. It's not fun to play against. So I'm worried about that. As far as I know, I don't think anybody at my locals has Kaiju 8. I have not run into anybody with Kaiju 8 at my locals. I do know at least one person at my locals has Idolmaster, so I'm not looking forward into running into it. There's another guy at my locals that has Uma Musume, which I do not like running into because it automatically bumps you a level. I forgot what card it was, but it automatically bumps your opponent to 3 if they're at 2-4 or higher. So I'm not looking forward to fighting that. I'm trying to think what else people have at my locals for JP. I don't really remember from the top of my head. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen at WGP. WGP is a really weird thing because a lot of people don't like to travel. So even if they win, like it doesn't matter if the invite doesn't matter if they don't want to travel. So a bunch of guys just come out for WGP because they want to play card games. As I said, my top 8 opponent was at our WGP playing Bochi was it last year or the year before? I don't remember. But a lot of people just come out for WGP because people are around and they want to play card games. But most people don't actually want the invite to WGP because they have to travel all the way like upstate New York. So I actually do want to travel to upstate New York. So if I happen to win, which is very unlikely, then I'll see whoever's there at WGP Nationals. But yeah, this is my deck for WGP, except with a few adjustments. As I said, I'm probably gonna add maybe the Yuki, maybe the Karin backup. But this is basically what I'm gonna be playing for WGP in November. We're very likely to get Kaiju. The thing is that we never know what's gonna be coming out in English. Because for the longest time, I thought Darling and the Franks was gonna come out in English, and it never did. So that's really, really weird. And for the longest time, I didn't think we were gonna get Revue Starlight in English. I think the gap between Revue Starlight Japanese and Revue Starlight English was like 3 years or something like that. Or maybe that was Kancolle. I don't remember. There was a set in Japan that like the gap between English and Japanese was like 3 years. So it's really weird when it comes to like, you know, what's coming out in English, what isn't coming out to English. For example, D4DJ was like partially owned by Bushiroad, and I think they're still in charge of like their marketing campaign or whatever. But Bushiroad like owned half of D4DJ, so I fully expected D4DJ to also come to English, but that also never happened. But I also wonder, has it been 3 years? I don't think a set is completely dead unless it's been 3 years since the JP release. Because based off of stuff that's happened in the past, I think it was Kancolle or was it Revue? There was like a 3-year gap. There was like a 3-year gap between a Japanese and English release before. Yeah, so it really depends. Some guys at my locals are thinking that ReZero, the new set for ReZero, the latest set for ReZero and JP, isn't gonna come out in English. I'm not sure if that's like I don't know what they're basing it on, because ReZero, the other sets for ReZero come out in English. But I was caught off guard by the Love Live announcement, honestly, because it's been so like JP had so many Love Live sets that like just like passed us by, and then they just released the School Idol Fest set later on, and they skipped the anniversary sets. So JP had Love Live anniversary sets that I was hoping would come out in English, because they had brought Aquars over. but they ended up skipping those sets entirely and ended up bringing the School Idol Fest set. So yeah, so there's a lot of sets that I thought would come over that never did. And for me, I don't think a set is completely out of the water unless it's... Oh! Hold on, I'm placing things over things. I don't think a set is completely not going to be released unless 3 years has passed. Versailles? Was that the set that was a 3-year gap? I don't remember. From the top of my head, I think it's Kancolle and I think it's Revue. But I don't remember the top of my head. But for me right now, I'm just hoping we get Mushoku Tensei for the JP announcements. I'm hoping we get Mushoku Tensei. I'm hoping we get Mushoku Tensei because it's been a while. We have plenty of content to work with for another set from Mushoku Tensei. I am worried about Overlord in that sense because what are they gonna do after the novel set gets released? Because like I don't know how much content they have left for Overlord to make sets out of. Because I think once I don't think we'll be getting another set for Overlord after the novel set, as sad as that will be. But at least I have Overlord Premium Booster and Overlord Extra Booster to come out in English. You want Danmachi too? We have plenty of we have so much content for Danmachi. Like, we have so much content for Danmachi that they can make a set. Mushoku also, 7 Deadly Sins. We have so much content for 7 Deadly Sins to make a new set. There's so many shows that there is content for to make a new set, but I don't know what the logistics is on like creating a new set or not, or if it's a licensing issue or something. But there is content. Maybe it's a license issue. I have no idea. I don't work at Bushiroad. I don't know. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see. I'm looking forward to the announcements, though. I'm really looking forward to the announcements. I do think that 7 Deadly Sins getting another set is kind of weird because they've had balancing issues with 7 Deadly Sins since like how many times they've hit 7 Deadly Sins like 3 times now, I think. So I think like, as I said, I don't work for Bushiroad. I don't know what's going on in their head or like what's happening with development, but like I think there's gonna be balancing issues. There's balancing issues with 7 Deadly Sins, because like they've had to ban the set. They've already had to put restrictions on the set like 3 times. That's also the thing for Avatar and Legend of Korra, because that gives them more access to cards for the tricolor 4-color Aang build. So like Legend of Korra is also kind of weird because like it's I think Korra works the same way as Revue Starlight, because the more Revue Starlight sets they release, Karuko is gonna get better. Let me just show these off again. Because when you release Revue Starlight sets, when you release a set for Revue Starlight, you're automatically giving the Karuko and Futaba deck a boost just because of names. Because the Karuko and Futaba deck requires Futaba and Karuko names. So if you print a new Revue Starlight set, you have to think about the Karuko and Ruko cards that already exist, or else things are gonna get out of balance. That's the same thing I feel with Avatar and Korra, because if you print a new set for Korra, unless you change the traits on it, you're automatically going to be giving a boost to the original existing cards. Just by printing cards into existence, you have more cards for the 4-color Aang. So you have to balance Korra. You'd have to balance like anything Revue Starlight. And I think like same thing for Seven Deadly Sins. It's a weird balancing thing when it comes to those sets, because as soon as you print any cards with color for Avatar, if you print any cards with Futaba and Karuko in Revue Starlight, and for Seven Deadly Sins, I don't know what's going on with Seven Deadly Sins right now, but there's balancing issues because I had to hit it 3 times now. I think those sets are just weird when it comes. Hololive too. The more Hololive cards you give, the more like like this happens for every set, but I think specific like it's a weird situation with those sets that like it's a weird situation with sets that specifically use names or use colors. Like I think that's why they did what they did with Sakura and printed like more anniversary cards than whatever. It's not ideal because it kind of makes the old sets obsolete. It's kind of the same thing with JoJo, that JoJo set 3 and JoJo set 5. What was it? Like those cards work together, but they don't work with Golden Wind because they changed the traits. So it's a weird balancing issue when it comes to Weiss, when it comes to just printing cards in general. Like when you print a set, you have to think about the other cards that are already existing, and if you want to trait lock stuff. So it's really, really weird. I mean, it's a good case. The trait locking thing is good for newer players. That means they don't have to go buy like a card that was printed years ago to play their deck. Persona had that. Yeah, so it really depends on like what they think is like troublesome or worrisome. It's also the reason why I think the guys at my locals think that ReZero isn't going to be coming to English, because it's been so long since the last ReZero set was printed that it's going to be too much of a pain for newer players to get a hold of old cards. So that's why they think that they're not gonna they're not gonna bring ReZero over to English. But at the same time, like we have had reprints. It's not like reprints don't exist. So that's my counter argument to that they're not gonna bring ReZero over because it's gonna make it harder for players to get a hold of their own cards. They do reprints. I forgot. They reprinted I think they reprinted, what was it? They reprinted Golden Wind, if I remember correctly, before they reprinted Golden Wind before JoJo Part 3 and JoJo Part, gosh, is it 5? 6, before 6. Yeah, and that's also the thing. Like a lot of the stuff, like as I said for like Sakura, like sometimes you just don't play. Konosuba too. Yeah, Konosuba also had the reprint. So I do understand where they're coming from. Reprint Gun Gale. People can't even get their hands on Gun Gale boxes. So one of my good pals, Roshan, who I met actually at a WGP many years ago. He doesn't live in New York. Like he is also one of the other players that travels around to different BCS locations and stuff like that. So he messaged me. I was like, hey, do you know? I'm gonna be stopping by New York. I'm coming to New York. Do you know any card stores? It turns out he was looking for Gun Gale. So yeah, people can't find Gun Gale. And I don't know how Bushi decides what to reprint and what not to reprint. But reprinting is always an option. Like they've done it before, unless it's another licensing issue and stuff. Okay, if Bushi doesn't do a reprint, it's either a licensing issue or whatever. But reprinting has been an option. Reprinting has been an option in the past. So I do think ReZero will come to English, despite the fact that the guys at my locals don't think it is, because it's gonna be unfair to newer players. I think it's gonna come to English. If they reprint ReZero or not to make the old cards more accessible is up in the air. I don't know how Bushi works with those kind of things. But yeah, I don't know if we even have like a date for the next Bushiroad conference, because we had the autumn conference already, so I think the next conference is winter. Yeah, no, he was looking for the second Gun Gale set. It was actually really, I should have mentioned this when I was talking about Philly, but in Philly, none of the vendors had Weiss Schwarz singles. It was very painful. I knew a few people who was like, oh, I was hoping to spend this weekend. I was hoping to buy some cards this weekend, but none of the vendors in Philly had Weiss Schwarz singles. They had some boxes. I think one of the vendors was doing buy two get one free for Weiss Schwarz boxes, but none of them had singles. I went to one of the tables. So I went to both tables because I was actually looking for a Heaven Burns Red Bungo card, the SP, which gonna be pain in the butt to find because I need Heaven Burns Red and I also needed to be Bungo and I needed to be the SP. But I actually went to both of the vendors in Philly and asked them if they had Weiss Schwarz singles. And one table flat up told me they don't have. The other table, the guy looked over and was like, did you bring the Weiss Schwarz binder? And he's like, no. So I was like, they have Weiss Schwarz. They have singles. But they didn't bring the binder with them. So I was like, I was very, very confused. I don't know how the vending situation works, but I feel like it's... I know Vanguard probably makes them a lot more money. I know Vanguard probably makes them a lot more money than Weiss Schwarz, but the best place to probably sell Weiss Schwarz singles is probably at a big Bushiroad event. And that's just my opinion. Maybe they worked out the logistics that's better to bring a Vanguard binder than a Weiss Schwarz singles binder, just because of how many more people play Vanguard. But you have less chance of moving Weiss Schwarz singles sitting at your own store than at a big event. That's how I see it, personally. Because how many people are gonna be looking for that specific Weiss Schwarz single if it just sits in your store? They'd have to go to your store. Versus going to BCS Philly, BSF Philly, where many people from out of the country, one of the teams I fought was actually from California, and like that's all the way on the other coast. Well, Philadelphia is on the East Coast. Like if the best place I think to move these singles is probably at a big event, but they didn't bring their binder with them. So, and I ran into a bunch of other Weiss players that are like, they don't have any singles. I want to do some shopping today, buy SPs, but like I don't know. I was hoping to do some shopping myself, and clearly I wasn't the only one. And you know, that was the only probably downside of the entire weekend for me at BSF Philly. The downside wasn't me not taking first. I had a feeling we weren't gonna top anyway, because we were playing off meta decks. So I'm not too I wasn't expecting us to top in the first place. The fact that we got top 4 is enough for me. The most disappointing part of the weekend was the fact that I couldn't spend any money because I wanted to buy Weiss Schwarz singles and none of the vendors had anything. And the best part was, of course, getting top 4. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with me today and stuff. I'm probably gonna get some dinner. I have some chicken marinating in the fridge. I put it in the marinade before I started stream. I'm gonna make some chicken for dinner. I guess last minute announcements or whatever. So I will be at WGP at CardQuest. So if you are attending CardQuest, feel free to say attending the WGP at CardQuest. Feel free to say hi. I was originally going to be traveling to Chicago, but it's on the same day. So, oh right, they had a little mini shop where they had the Weiss Schwarz playmat, which was very cute. It was I think it was the anniversary playmat. I don't remember what it was. It was the white one with the rainbow squares. But I will be at WGP at CardQuest. I was originally going to be traveling to Chicago instead, but it's the same weekend. So I'm gonna save my money and not go to Chicago. Also because of the situation going into Chicago. There's a political situation currently going on in Chicago. So I think it's probably better I not go to Chicago and instead attend WGP. So WGP at CQ in November, and then I will also be in Texas. I will be in Texas for BCS. And California is currently up in the air right now. But if everything goes well, I will be at WGP in November. I will be at BCS Texas, BCS California. If you guys see me, feel free to say hi and challenge me to a game. Let me see if I still have one. There we go. If you challenge me to a game at WGP or BCS, you're going to Texas? Awesome. If you see me, I'll be carrying a bag covered in these. If you see me, feel free to say hi and challenge me to a game. You don't have to win. You don't have to win. Challenge me to a game, you get one. I'll give you one for free. Okay? Challenge me to a game, play a game with me. You don't have to win. You get one of these. You don't have to pay me or anything. These are someone actually walked up to me in Philly and asked me if he could buy a pin off me, and I told him like, you don't have to pay anything. These aren't for sale. These are not for sale. I don't have a shop or anything. So the only way to get these is if you meet me in person. So I don't have a Shopify. I don't sell VTuber merch or anything like that. These are given away if you just see me in person. So do not be afraid to come up to me, say hi or whatever. If you don't have time for a game, I'm most likely gonna give you one anyway if you just talk to me on day 2. Because I don't want to carry all the extra badges back home. So, like, come say hi. I'm not scary. I don't bite. If anything, the only scary thing about me is the fact that I play Overlord. Which people have told me before, by the way, that they didn't expect me to play Overlord of all games. I'm not scary. I don't bite. I will get really, really annoyed though if you like, if you like do the weird, what's it called? The weird flicky thing with your card. If you do like the very, like the weird, what's it called? The weird like pinchy thing on the corner with your card. I'll get annoyed if you do that. But besides that, I think I'm pretty chill. I think I'm pretty chill. I think I'm pretty chill for the most part. So yeah, if you see me in Texas, California, WGP, if you see me anywhere, I'll have a bag covered with these. Come up, say hi, we can play a game. As I said, these aren't for sale. Only people who have the strength to come up to me and say hi will get one. But yeah, thank you guys for stopping by today. It's been kind of crazy thinking about the fact that I've been playing Weiss Schwarz for 8 years. I never thought I was gonna top, because I mainly play English. I always feel like I've always felt inferior to the Weiss Schwarz players that play both formats. So the fact that I actually topped is kind of crazy to me. I don't know if I'm ever gonna top again, but at least you know, I topped before I died. As sad and weird as that sound, as I said, I adore. Actually, I haven't said it, but I adore Weiss Schwarz. Weiss Schwarz is like the best game I've ever played. Like, I have dreams about playing Weiss Schwarz, and people at my locals were like freaked out by that. I had a dream about playing Mushoku Tensei at Summerfest actually, which I didn't do. I ended up with I played Overlord, and I knew I was playing with Overlord. But yeah, this game means so much to me. Like, and the fact that I finally got a top placement is it's still kind of unbelievable. I don't care that I didn't get first. Like I would have been fine just with the top 8, to be honest. But the fact that we got top 4 makes me even more happy. But yeah, thank you guys for talking to me about 8 years of Weiss Schwarz. I'm gonna be probably playing this game. One day I will have to retire and stop traveling, but Like, even if I stop traveling for BCS and Springfest and stuff, I'll still be playing it at my locals. I know that for sure. So I'll be playing it as much as I can. And I hope to see you guys at a regional qualifier. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys at the next tournament. Hopefully not during rounds. Hopefully I will see you guys during free fight. Hopefully see you guys during free fight, and that I don't ever run into you guys at rounds. Have a good rest of your day, get some food, get something to drink, and if you roll gacha, best of luck on all your pulls. Bye!